It's a great privilege and a great pleasure to stand before all of you here tonight. This evening is a milestone, really, in the Visual Effects Society. And I think it's also a moment to step back and reflect upon the astonishing transformation that's taken place in the world of visual effects in such a short time. It was about 15 years ago that some companies and some individuals first started talking about a professional organization for people who were in the visual effects business. And about 10 years ago that Tom Atkin came back to me with his enthusiasm and persistence and persuaded me and a group of us from different parts of the visual effects industry to get together and talk again about the idea of having a professional organization. It was a time when things were truly starting to explode in the effects industry. Everyone could tell we were on the cusp of significant change. New techniques were entering into the picture. Old ones were being reinvigorated. A wave of new artists were coming into the field, and there seemed to be a growing demand from all corners of the entertainment industry for more and more visual effects and animation work. It was against this backdrop that the Visual Effects Society was formed. When the VES started, there were many things we wanted to do with the organization. One of them was to recognize and honor the great visual effects and animation work that our colleagues had been creating each year. Having an awards program seemed like a great and at the time quick way to draw attention to the pivotal and changing role that visual effects were playing in the entertainment world. We now have, I think, come to the appropriate time to loop back to that original VES goal and have an awards program, and thus we are here tonight. It's time now to pause and reflect upon the creative excellence in visual effects and animation that all of you are producing and creating. We have gathered here as the result of many years of hard and thoughtful work by the VES members, its committees, and its board. And all of that work, as most of you know, is volunteer work. It's people putting in time, people who spend a lot of time at work already. Before we move into the awards program tonight, we have a special guest that we would like to introduce. This is a man who's joining us tonight who knows what stuff inspiration is made of. In fact, all of us in this room have probably been motivated to some extent by what he and his colleagues have accomplished in the real world. Many of us have come into the effects industry and the animation industry, I think, hoping to echo the types of things that he and his brethren have done and the feeling of wonder that they've thrust into our imagination. I want to introduce to you Colonel Rick Searfoss. Colonel Searfoss is a former astronaut who has flown 3 space missions for a total of 939 hours in space. In 1993, he piloted Columbia on his first mission, STS-58. And during STS-76, he was pilot of Atlantis on the 3rd American docking mission with the Russian space station Mir. He commanded the STS-90 Neurolab mission in April 1998. The STS-90 was dedicated to the study of brain and nerve function in zero gravity and was the last and most complex of the 25 Space Lab missions. Prior to that, Colonel Searfoss was a fighter pilot and test pilot in the United States Air Force with over 5,000 hours in the air in over 60 type of aircraft. He graduated from the U.S. Air Force Academy in 1978 and completed a master's degree at the California Institute of Technology on a National Science Foundation fellowship. So as we step back to hopefully be inspired by the work that all of you have created here tonight and use that inspiration to go on to do even hopefully better and cooler work in the future, we'd like to have Colonel Searfoss speak and tell us a little bit about the things that have motivated him to new heights.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks. Thanks, Jim, and thanks, Tom, for the wonderful invitation to come address you this evening. And my wife and I have already just had a marvelous time, and I'm really looking forward to everything tonight. You know, I hope to draw many connections between your passion and vision and creative storytelling through visual effects and my work and passion in human space exploration. While I speak, a series of photographs of our home planet taken from orbit, many of which I took, will be showing on all the screens behind me here. Let's consider that our first connection, a love of the marvelous, spine-tingling impact that visual images can have on us. In this case, since we astronauts are not special effects wizards like you guys, what you see is exactly what we saw through the viewfinders of our cameras. It's just a very uncommon vantage point that makes the impact so unique and so special. Who is to say what is impossible? For the dreams of yesterday are the hopes of today and the realities of tomorrow. Now, that statement might well have been made by virtually anyone in the creative side of your business, particularly any one of you in the visual effects world, so focused on bringing fantastic mental imagery from the fertile minds of artists, writers, and directors to a tangible expression on screen. But actually, the statement was made by someone in my business, specifically one of the very first rocket scientists. Now, Dr. Robert L. Goddard, perceived in his day in the 1920s as a bit of a crackpot, persevered, a real crackpot actually, persevered with his vision and eventually invented the first liquid-fueled rocket engine. A mere 40 years after his first tentative experiments in the fields surrounding Worcester, Massachusetts, the great-grandchildren of his engine, 5 gigantic 1.5 million pound thrust each F-1 engines, thundered Apollo 11 to the moon aboard a Saturn V rocket. The dreams of Jules Verne turned to the hopes of Goddard and eventually to a reality that carried human beings off our planet to the moon. I do not think at all that it's too far of a stretch that when a director asks you to create new, unseen images, that those images may eventually morph into an incredible reality. Concepts, brainstorming, envisioning, if-onlying, patience slogging through the writer's blocks until the muse decides to inspire with that creative aha. All of those things are the stuff of dreams, and it's your stock in trade. The dream becomes a spark for the rest of us. You're all in the business of elucidating dreams. Those dreams are a very real inspiration and influence that your profession carries into the whole world. As creative dreams blossom, they take on a tangible present expression with an in-the-can film or show which can offer a present hope to the world. Even the cantankerous old, driven to technical perfection engineer, test pilot, or astronaut like me willingly and enjoyably suspends disbelief to experience your dreams and consider the hopes they engender. The truly international aspect of the current human spaceflight program is hugely rewarding, both for the individuals involved as well as the nations who make those commitments. And the hope that Elon brought to his violence-weary nation as he joined with us in a peaceful pursuit of knowledge will definitely live on. He was hopeful, purposeful, trustworthy, optimistic, compassionate, wise, poised, hopeful. Powerful examples, qualities and characteristics of great intrinsic worth. I perceive that as you strive for integrity, artistic and otherwise, in your work, these are also wonderful qualities for you to strive for. To dream loftier dreams and to express them with more excitement, vision, and hope. To project and predict a future that will more effectively motivate the next generations of reality creators. Let the examples of the STS-107 crew inspire your next dream-making venture and bring the dream, hope, reality process back full circle. The 19th century English writer William Wordsworth said, "Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. The soul that rises with us, our life's star, hath had elsewhere its setting, and cometh from afar, not in entire forgetfulness, and not in utter nakedness, but trailing clouds of glory do we come from God, who is our home." Into each of us is placed, I truly believe, seeds of talent, greatness, and glory beyond our own reckoning. Tonight we will see the great fruits of such seeds that have taken root, been nurtured, and grown into phenomenal expressions of human spirit. My heartiest congratulations to everyone here. Your storytelling, your dreams, your visual imagery and effects are marvelous and breathtaking. I'm grateful to have had a little time to share with you some of my thoughts of our common ground and interdependence. My wife Julie and I are very excited as we anticipate the rest of the evening. Thanks.
The Visual Effects Supervisor of 2001: A Space Odyssey, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Blade Runner, Director of Silent Running, and Honorary Member of the Visual Effects Society, Douglas Trumbull.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here amongst my peers and have everybody honoring our art and our craft. It's really a great honor. Best visual effects in an effects-driven motion picture. And the winner is, of Best Visual Effects in an Effects-Driven Motion Picture, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Jim Rigel, Joe Lettieri, Randall William Cook, and Alex Funke.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Joe and Randy and Alex obviously are still down in New Zealand working away on that third film. You know, I'd like to just start off by thanking the Visual Effects Society again. The fact that it's a award ceremony that awards the artists, I think, is truly incredible. There hasn't been anything like this before, and coming from an artist background, we have, I'm sure all wanted something like this. So again. Our names are up there, but it's the 300 plus people that were down in New Zealand that put this all together, and they couldn't have done it without them, obviously.
Again, I want to thank everyone for their support tonight and over the last few weeks, and putting on, Tom, to you especially, and to your team for putting on this and putting on all the long, hard hours. We did the easy part. We just cut a few reels together and shipped them off here, and they had to make this all work, and so thank you to you. And again, I want to thank all of our team down there, because in addition to the artists, there are the production team that helped put all this together, and I have a fantastic production team down there, and it's long hours, and we all know what it's like, and we all miss our families, and to come to an event like this to celebrate the work that we all do, and that everyone that takes part of this is able to contribute and enjoy this moment. Believe me, there's going to be some celebration tomorrow night in New Zealand. So thank you all, and thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight. We will see you next year.